Hi, Adriana.
Hi, Stephanie.
How are you?
I'm so glad to have this time together and have a chat.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited. So, for our audience today, I'm speaking with Adriana Morales Marin. And Adriana, you're a graphic designer by training, a visual artist, an author, and illustrator. And you were born in Mexico City, Mexico.
Exactly. Yes.
So I'm excited to have you join my interview series. So thank you for joining. You've been a champion of art education, and you've been teaching children to make art through various workshops for about 17 years. You also served as the artist in residence at two local elementaries here in the Seattle area, Audubon Elementary in Redmond, Washington, and Puesta del Sol. I was going to say it in Spanish, uh, and Puesta del Sol in Bellevue, Washington. And you still do it. You also offer workshops for the King County and Seattle library systems. Um, so you also, I was mentioning you're an author. You authored and illustrated your own books. So you've done about 8 by yourself, but you've also been frantically working for other authors, right, and illustrating their books. So this is amazing, and I'll just show some of your books as I do the montage for this interview. Most of the books that you work on are bilingual, and your focus is really aiming to promote different cultures, openness, curiosity, and empathy, and joy to younger audiences, because your focus is on kids. So that's my little intro. So I'm excited to have you join. Thank you. And I love the colors, all the art behind you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Well, it's because I'm still a big kid. So you can tell. Full of
That
toys and bright colors.
This is great. So I wanted to dive in my first question to you. So you've really created a career built around the gift of art education to others. You mainly collaborate with nonprofit organizations, so you really do it for the love of it. So can you give me the background behind you choosing this path? Especially, you started as a graphic designer, and I bet you wanted to do other things when you got started. So tell me a little bit about your path.
Well, actually, that's what I started with. I went to the Iberoamericana University in Mexico City, and as I was studying, in the last years, one day I was, drawing, and one girl, she came and said like, "Oh, I love your little drawings. Wouldn't you like to have a job doing that?" And I said like, "But of course." I mean, the money would come in handy. And she said, "You know what? My parents, they have an editorial house and they're looking for an illustrator for a new series of books." And I said, like, "Well, that sounds tempting." So, like, come with my parents, they can, meet you and see if you're a fit for the role. So I did. Fast forward, I got the job, and this was illustrating a series of books for sexual education, but they were a jewel. They were focused more into core values, like love yourself and love the others, kind of the golden rule, and respect and community and all these things. So like this was like my first big exposure of what being a graphic designer and an illustrator could be. And it was marvelous. I mean, just the theme, it really talked to me. And then like this day, I mean, and I would work like crazy because I also needed the money to pay for school. Like I
Yeah.
would sit down, have breakfast real fast, start drawing, and finish drawing when I noticed that I couldn't see anymore because it was nighttime and I had to stand up to turn on the lights. I mean,
Uh-huh.
like I was so much into it that just time, flew by. So that was like a second call. I say like, "Hey, if there's
Mhm.
something that you can just do on and on. That's, kind of your path. But then I went to get my check. And as I was, waiting there in the line, to get my check, there was this woman with her daughter. This was a young girl that she was flipping one of the books that I had illustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked at her mom and she's like, you know what, Mom, this is going to be a great year. And she's like, why? It's like, take a look at the drawings in this book. It's so much fun. I'm going to like actually going to school. And that moment for me, it was like, I don't need the check. I'm already paid. I mean, when you find something that
Yeah.
you could do for free, even more that you would
Yeah.
pay, so you could do this. I mean, like this moment where because I would do it for the fun,
Mm-hmm.
of drawing and drawing all these fun things and colorful things and happy things. And you think that they might, make somebody else happy, but actually being your client,
Yeah.
being touched by it and have enthusiasm. I mean, for me was amazing. But that was like a short time that I had, while I was still in
Mm-hmm.
school. Then I got out. I became a creative director for two different software companies, and then for another big company in Mexico. I did the whole gig of, like having big clients like
Yeah.
banks, insurances, doing UIs and
Mm-hmm.
all the computer stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I liked it, but I didn't love it. It's like I enjoyed
Yeah.
it and it was fun, but it wasn't, that same thrill that I had when I
Yeah.
was doing those first books. So that was kind of the path. And then like I got married and we moved from Mexico here. And I had my kids and they were like my biggest project. And that's when I had the chance
Mm-hmm.
to collaborate in the school, being an
Yeah.
art docent first. So there I had, the one-on-one moment to be
Mm-hmm.
teaching the kids.
Yeah.
And that was it. I found my calling, and it was so good that I had, like the first glimpse right at the beginning of my career of what I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to do. Then
Mm-hmm.
I kind of dive and do everything that everybody does. And
Yeah.
then I got the chance to kind of go back and do what I liked. And you just kind of keep rolling from that. And yeah, I kind of pivoted, like the focus in my career.
Yeah. It's very interesting what you said about, you kind of started strong where, not so many people actually get to meet their audience without knowing it right at the beginning, right? Just hearing that kids do that, it's such an impact. And I bet when you were in corp, in the corp world, you never had, never heard a customer say, oh, I really like this, right?
Oh, sometimes, but like I like to make, like
Yeah.
colorful and tiny things. Like I got
Yeah.
one chance. I was working with there's a big company in Mexico named Bimbo that they
Uh-huh.
make, well, I think that they bought Wonder
Okay.
Bread.
Oh,
So
okay.
like for them, I kind of pushed in, like they were making this UI. So I said, like, what if? And I made these tiny animations of all the bread
Oh,
walking
that
and
is so
falling.
cool.
Exactly. But that was like the only time that I could pull it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the other things were kind of gray and square.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just so cool. And so then slowly you got into that illustration and creating your books, right? That's what happened after.
Exactly. Yeah, I started illustrating kind of in the old-fashioned way, just,
Uh-huh.
your pencils and pens and everything. And then kind of started then with the digital art and mixing that.
Yeah.
And it was a great opportunity that now you can self-publish because, in the publishing world, it's very complicated. It's very frustrating if you have an idea, kind of, how to put it together and send it and see if they like it and then coming back. But now with the self-publishing, it is so rewarding because everybody has a story to tell.
Yeah.
And that's what I really love. I mean, like with my books, it's like, I get to share, my culture, my beliefs, and what I think it's important, especially for kids, to have, a happy childhood and a happy
Yeah.
life. And if I can share a little bit of that, I think that that's amazing. And then illustrating and helping, other authors,
Hmm.
it's one of the best feelings ever, because it's like, if you're like that, uh like fairy godmother, that you get to
Yeah.
listen to them and they have their dreams and say like, oh, I've always wanted to do this, and then you kind of bring it to life.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful feeling. And I could, honestly say that some of my best friends, they have been my clients first, because you make, such a
Yeah.
special bond. And
Yeah.
it is something that AI won't be able to substitute, that
Well,
human contact. And
yeah.
that that's so amazing that we can, have that.
Yeah. So let's continue into the publishing, because there's one thing when you and I were starting to talk, you talked about this book that you authored and illustrated, Katrina's Day of the Dead. And this book actually helped kickstart a publishing house that's called, I'm going to try to say it properly, Anteojos Ediciones in Colombia, which means eyeglasses edition, right? Um, and this edition focuses on creating books and making them available for children of all abilities. So please share this story, because this is, I think, amazing what you did.
Well, it's an amazing project that my friend Angelita does. Like, I met the founder of Anteojos Ediciones, uh, just by chance in Mexico. And she's a beautiful young woman, very talented. And she has been through lots of hurdles in her life, because she was born very premature. So,
Mhm.
for her, walking has been always a challenge. But she's a very smart lady. So she got to work in the editorial world. And
Mhm.
her dream was, she said, like, you know what? I think that there's something missing. Especially, she was talking about, her hometown in Colombia. So, like,
Mhm.
there are all these kids of different uh, abilities that don't have the chance for literature, and that is such a big loss.
Mhm.
And so she had these dreams, like, I want books to have different levels, that are available for different cognitive levels, like have pictograms, and also maybe have animations. And she wanted to have a version with the sign language, so they could, kind
Mhm.
of read it and do the sign language. So this is like a big dream and a big project that she had. And when she talked to me about it, she knew that I was an author and illustrator, and she had seen my Katrina's Day of the Dead book, and she said, like, you know what? I really like your book, but I don't have any money, or I can't promise anything. But I have this dream, and said, like, you know what? I would absolutely be honored and love to help you, build your project, and let's see what happens. And it's been a journey. And I mean, like, if the people hearing us can then go check out, the Anteojos
Yeah.
Ediciones, that would be something that they won't regret, because you get to see, like, they have in their Instagram videos of how this project has, reached so many kids of these rural places. And then some of them are really poor, that they don't have access to much.
Yeah.
But you can see them, sharing the story and sharing culture, from different
Yeah.
countries, because they don't celebrate the Day of the Dead, which actually, I think that it is it is a very colorful celebration in Mexico,
Hmm.
but there's like a key element to it, that it is, respecting and remembering your loved
Yeah.
people that have passed on. So it
Hmm.
also helps people when they're mourning.
Yeah.
So it has like lots of things, not just kind of the culture or the fun part of that, but it also has something that can help you in a deeper level. So
Yeah.
you can see their videos, how these kids that maybe they have Down syndrome and they are able to read the books. And that's really amazing. And everybody can be part of it because they have a program where you could actually donate so they can bring these books, to more kids. So
Okay.
I mean, I am so honored, and because it's a struggle. It's a struggle,
Yeah.
for them to find the money, to get, the editions coming, but they're doing great. They have a new theme now going on. I think it's Ukumari. But yeah, I'm really, really proud that I was, part of it, kind of help them get started.
Get started. Yeah, this is awesome. I wonder if we have such things in the US. I'll be super curious. I'm going to have to investigate because I guess, if you want to donate things to them, it's going to be mainly in Spanish, right? Or do you think they would do bilingual also, English and Spanish for these kids?
I am sure that they would be open to it. I mean, she
Yeah.
had some. I know that she has now the version of the Katrina's Day of the Dead book. The version that they made. I think that it is now in the New York Library or something.
Wow.
Because yeah, she's been moving the strings and talking to
Wow.
people. Yeah.
This is cool. Well, this is so cool that you really helped and got involved with that. We got a famous person.
I don't know
Love it.
too much to say, but an enthusiastic one, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is cool. Um, so let's talk about your current, what's going on in your life today. So earlier I was mentioning that you're actively involved with those elementary schools in the area. And right now, you're actually about to launch your annual project that you do with the Puesta del Sol School Elementary, right? And you are going to be using the monarch butterfly as part of your theme for this year. So, can you talk about this project, the theme, and why it's so important to you?
Sure thing. Well, I'm super excited because this year we're going to have this collaborative art project with all the schools. So starting from preschool all the way to fifth grade.
Mhm.
And the theme is migration. And I mean, I love to teach kids, a little bit of art. I always expose them, to different artists. Like this time, we're going to talk about three different Latin American artists because it's a Spanish immersion school. So, I mean, that's something that I love about, the Bellevue district, that they kind of, include everybody.
Yeah.
And so my idea behind it, and I know that we all know what kind of times we are living, and
Yes.
I just want to, plant that little seed in kids to remember that planet Earth is a sphere. It has no corners. It has no frontiers. And just like the little butterflies, they come and go, where they need to spread, the little pollen to help,
Mhm.
plants flourish. So just like the monarch butterflies, I mean, the same happens with us, with the human
Mhm.
family. And I always try to make them, see each other as that. I mean,
Yeah.
we're all the same. We're all made out, of the same.
Hmm.
And just to treat each other, like the golden rule, like I was saying at the beginning, treat yourselves as you would like to be treated. But then you kind of step back and really see how you're treating yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Are you treating yourself with respect, with love, with empathy?
Mm-hmm.
So kind of start by yourself
Yeah.
and then spread it and focus, the bounty of the goodness that we have around. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's what I really try to focus. When I go and teach kids, I want them to have fun,
Yeah.
to be happy, to focus in the light and just have, a good time and take art, as a way to express themselves. You would save so much money, instead of going to therapy if you actually, use art, to express yourself and kind of, spend more time doing things that move you and make you feel happy. And you'll find that sometimes those things really have to do with doing them with somebody
Mm-hmm.
else. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the idea, and I am very, very happy about it. So it's going to be a big display with all these teeny tiny butterflies that the kids are going to get to make. Each one of them is going to be represented in it, and they're all gonna come together. You'll see. I'll send you a picture when the project is
Yeah.
done.
And is this something that is that going to be at the school itself? Where is that going to be shown?
It's gonna be a permanent piece of art in the school in
Okay.
Puesta. Mhm.
So we'll have to. I hope there'll be some pictures, and then the lucky parents who are able to go to the school and see what their kids are doing. Just going to be a treat. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the pictures. This is awesome. Are you so you said something super interesting, and I'm very curious because you mentioned art, if we were doing more art instead of therapy. Well, art is used a lot in therapy, in some mode of therapy. So I wanted to move a little bit in my question to you from the kids, because obviously you do most of the things you do with the kids. But in the workshops that you've been doing in the libraries, right, you also reach out to adults, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like just last year, I collaborated with a really good, talented, super talented writer and author of novels, my friend Maria Victoria de Lourdes, that I'm going to have to introduce you to her. We set up, it was a project that it was intended for young adults and adults to
Uh-huh.
write and illustrate their own mystery stories.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
that was lots of fun. So I mean, on and off. I mean, we'll have programs that are also, intended for adults, for writing and for illustrating. Everything that it is kind of mixed into art and having fun.
Yeah.
Count me in. Yeah.
So you basically had someone guiding them into the authoring part, and then you would help them also with the drawing, kind of getting their own little drawing lesson. Is that what you did?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we did. And we also had another, I'm trying to remember the name. I am so sorry because my memory is not serving me right. Um, Hugo House. Hugo House, I don't know if you heard of them, that we were very honored because in Hugo House in Seattle, they've had, all these writing workshops, but they were
Yeah.
in English. And this was the first time that they gave us a chance to do an all Spanish workshop. So that
Uh-huh.
was one that was the theme that we also used, and it was a success. It was lots of fun. I mean, little by little, we're kind of reaching.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that that came from abroad, and they are kind of, I mean, they know both languages, but sometimes it is easier to express in one language than
Yeah.
the other. So I mean, I think that the more that we can offer, that's the best. I mean, the more spices you can put to the sauce is gonna make it spicier.
I love the reference, the food reference. Yeah, as you speaking, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder if it's something like this that we do for the French community also. Right.
That is
Yeah,
so nice. And maybe there is, because that's one of the
yeah,
things that I found out. There are so many programs that are offered to the communities that are
yeah,
for free. and some people don't know and don't
Yeah.
take advantage of these. I mean, just like, for example, talking about other cultures, I went to the one of the Indian celebrations that they had at the Bellevue Park for the Holi, when they have,
Yeah.
all the color powders. I had so much fun with the Indian community. They are
Yeah.
so embracing and so nice, and I got
Yeah.
to learn so much about it, and I
Yeah.
danced like crazy with them. So I think that
Yeah.
we need to do our part in
Hmm.
finding out, because
Yeah.
we tend to do always the same and just kind of stay home and don't open up, to the other options. And there's, trust me, there's so many things that are available to us that we're just, not knowing about it and not
Yeah.
taking advantage
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. And, this is also why I'm doing this interviews, because speaking with people like you who are just supporting their community is my way of putting all of these things out there. So I'm super excited, to meet people like you and learning so much. So this is really, dear to my heart. Um, so yeah, thank you for sharing all of that. I have one last question for you before we part. Um, and we chatted a little bit about it, and we're like, oh, it's not going to be too much different. But the question I have to you, you really embraced your passion. You found that. But if you were not doing what you're doing today, what would you be doing?
That's a tough one because I love what I do, but I think that just like in life in general, what I found out, after I say that after you're more than 50, you're kind of free, and you find your passion. And I've been focusing more in what it is really, really, really that makes me happy. And so you kind of have to take everything out. And
Uh-huh.
what I found is that I like to laugh. I like to make people happy. I like to kind of make things, and like that way kind of spread the love and enjoy
Hmm.
love. So I could easily be a barista at a cat cafe making beautiful cafes for people. I don't know, anything like that. It's like, I think that that's the thing. You just kind of have to focus in what it is that you really, really, really enjoy, and that
Yeah.
way you can find out that it can be anything, anything.
Yeah.
It could be I know, I don't know, like cleaning floors, making everything nice and shiny for everybody to appreciate it. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter that much what is that you do, but how you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love what you just said, and that's why I also focusing on women over 40 for these interviews, because what you said, I feel like once you pass 50, you get that realization of, deep inside you what is really truly important. And what you just said, after 50, I just peeled these things and really trying to find the core of what makes me happy. So I really like that. I think it probably resonates with a lot of women our age. And so thank you for putting it like this. This is awesome.
Yeah, welcome to the fifth floor. That's what I would say.
Yeah, yeah. Lots of experience and wisdom to offer, and obviously the fact that you've been focusing to our youngster. This is just awesome. So thank you so much. This is the end of our conversation, unfortunately, but I want to get some news from your art project. So, I can post it into my website and just share more information when it's ready. When do you think you'll be done?
Probably, I think, by the end of May.
At the end of May. Okay, so that's your spring. So we'll chat in May again to see what's going
Okay,
on with that project. I'm super excited. Well, thank you so much, Adriana, and
thank you,
I hope to talk
Stephanie.
to you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all the listeners. And I hope you all, have a happy life.
Yeah, and I'll share your contact in the, at the end of this video. So thank you. Bye.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you for your time.
Hi, thank you for joining on my interviews. This is Stephanie with I'm Ready for the World. I hope you like this interview, and I invite you to send me more names of amazing women that you think I should invite an interview. And I'll see you either on Instagram or TikTok or on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Bye.